Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Wooden Railway Adventures, Episode 39, Mike's Ice Cream Party. On Sir Topham Hatt's Soda Railway, there is a little engine called Mike. He came from the Arsdale Railway, and is very glad to be on Sir Topham Hatt's railway, though. He still has Arsdale Railway behavior, as the Arsdale Railway wasn't a very well-behaved railway, but he has broken then, and has now become a very useful engine. But unfortunately, he has kicked back into action again. Mike has become a more cocky engine, and other engines don't like hanging around him. He now has to shunt his own coaches and trucks to prepare for trains. Mike doesn't like that. Sir Topham Hatt one day had called him down to the docks. He was going to pull a special train. Mike was very excited. He went under the quarry tunnel and came out the other side, just where the docks were. He came in, and there was Cranky. "Well, little Mike," he said, "isn't it a wonderful day?" Mike didn't say a word. He just puffed up and waited. "Mike," said Cranky, "do you hear me?" Mike didn't say anything. Finally, James broke into the conversation. "Mike," he said, "you can't just stand there. You can't just be a self-centered engine," he said. "We don't like you because you're cocky." "I don't care," said Mike. "Yeah, at least you could shunt my trucks once in a while." "Ah," said James, "that's a long shot from now. You've been very rude to us, and so we don't want to." "That's my point," said Mike. "You have to forgive." Remember what you did to Sir Handel?" "Oh, please don't remind me." "I won't," said James. "But anyway, don't do it again." "I won't," said Mike, and he puffed away. He came to the siding where the train was. It was the cookie factory cargo cars. Any engine would have been excited to pull it, but on this day, Mike wasn't very excited. "Pah," he said, "these pieces of garbage? Sir Topham Hatt wants me to pull this? I will never." Just then, Boko puffed up with the last freight car. "You have to," said Boko. "It's Sir Topham Hatt's orders." "Well, you're not Sir Topham Hatt, so I'm not pulling it. Look, you're already coupled to the train." "Actually," said Boko, "I'm not. I just shunted this truck here for you. You can continue along your way from there." Mike still wasn't very happy. "Ugh," he said. "My luck just isn't very good right now." "And your behavior," said James. Mike was coupled to the train. "Be careful," said Boko. "They were mighty troublesome when I tried shunting them, so be on your best lookout." But Mike was cross. "I don't need smelly diesels to tell me what to do," he said. "I'm from the Arsdale Railway, and I know everything." Boko felt hurt, and he puffed away sadly. James had finally had enough. You better quit your attitude," said James. "And you better stop being my mom," he said. "I'm tired of you." "And I'm tired of you too," said James. "You've really hurt Boko there." James puffed away into a siding. The train was long and heavy, but Mike was determined to do it. The first thing he had to do was shunt it into a siding, so he could go a certain way. Then he continued along his way. The trucks were cross, though. At the beginning, they had banged him hard. Ricky wasn't going to stand for this nonsense. "Let's pay him out," they said. "Pay Mike out." He whispered it to the other trucks, and they did the same thing. They held back for a while, and Mike wasn't very happy about this. "Come on, trucks," he said. "I'm not going to stand here all day." But Rickety was about to have a plan. "Here's the plan," he said, and he whispered it to the other engines. They held their brakes on for as long as they could. Mike tried and tried, but he suddenly stopped. "I'm out of steam," he said. "It's all right," said his driver. "We'll try again." Mike tried again. "On 3, said Rickety. "Let go." Mike was trying his hardest. 1. Mike was still going. 2, 3. They let go, and Mike zoomed into the tunnel. "Whoa," said Mike. "Help!" They rushed along the line at a very high speed. His driver was concerned, but he wasn't as concerned as the brakeman was, as the conductor was. He was on the brake van. He applied the brakes so hard that the brakeman was left on the line, while the train thundered into the tunnel. Now they didn't have a brake van, but that was the worst to come. Mike went up a steep hill. But the trucks weren't helping him at all. They now held back on their brakes. "Oh," said Mike, "just help me for once." "Fine," said Rickety, "we will." They pushed him on. Mike came around the bend super fast. Jack, Terrence, Thumper, Alfie, and Trevor were sitting down below. He came around the bend, and some of the goods fell out and banged them on the head. Ow, said Terrence. What was that? Incoming, said Thumper. Oh, ouch. Watch out, said Alfie. Ow, oh, this isn't good. Ow. All the row vehicles were very surprised. Oh, it's from Mike's train. That doesn't look too good. And it didn't. Mike rushed through the docks. James saw him and laughed. Just what he needs. Mike came around the bend and onto a different line. Oh, great, he said. The signaling isn't going to change me, so I'm going to have to go through this loop all over again. Of course, this had to happen to me, but the signalman thought otherwise. He diverted Mike into a side. What's happening? He said. He ran around the edge, and there was the end of the track, along with some buffers. And Sir Topham Hatt and Lady Hatt were standing right there. Cinders and ashes, yelled Mike. He came off the track and he crashed into the buffers. Sir Topham Hatt, meanwhile, was very surprised. Well, Mike, he said, you didn't have to burst in. What's all this about? Why are there engines everywhere? Sir Topham Hatt laughed. I forgot to tell you, he said. You have been a very good engine for the last couple of days, and so I invited you to an ice cream social. My wife is putting it on here. Yes, said Lady Hatt, it is. Except you rudely interrupted our conversation. Mike wasn't very pleased about this. I'm sorry, sir, he said. I should think so, too, said Sir Topham Hatt. All these engines were participating in it, but you've just ruined their day, and they all agreed. James ran to the site of the crash. Well, Mike, said James, looks like you just got your just desserts. How is it? How does it feel? It tastes very sweet, but I don't like it at all, said Mike. All the other engines laughed, and even Lady Hatt too, except for Mike. He knew he had done something very, very silly.